Hi guys, welcome back to another podcast episode of She Speaks Her Mind, your go-to, your comfort person, your host, Anna Pedron. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm so glad you're tuning in. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you who has been listening so far, or if this is your first episode of ever listening to me, you're gonna want to buckle in because my episodes, they are chef's kiss, I would say, if I'm always getting good feedback from everyone who has been listening so far. But I know some of the audio in my podcast episodes have been cutting out, and I would have to film the process of just the camera audio version, which sucks. And that whole situation, I'm hoping I figured that out because I did have to get a new connector USB for this mic because that's why it kept cutting off. And every time I moved the slightest bit, I think it would just disconnect, and that's why the audio version would suck sometimes. But I'm hoping I fixed that problem. You know, not everything's gonna be pitch perfect, but I'm hoping throughout the next few episodes and future videos / audio version, we have figured this out. So anyways, right now I am drinking my tea. This is some like organic lavender cream tea that I found on Instagram, and I don't know what it is about it, but I keep drinking that every single day. And if I don't drink it, I'm like missing the piece of the puzzle that needs to cure me every single day. But anyways, it's been a while since I've been in this original podcast setup with what's going on in the background. And before I get into this podcast episode, I wanted to update you guys on what's been going on and just like update you guys with my life and just chat before we actually get into the episode. So if you want to skip through this part, you may do so. So first and foremost, this has been running through my mind for the past couple of months because ever since I started this podcast, I've really been wanting to change the podcast cover. And as much as I am obsessed and adore the art that is within this cover, I feel like it needs to be changed up and revised with something different where I kind of want to be, you know, the cover of it instead of just like some cartoon picture. And I think that way it would be a better vision for everyone to see what I look like and like how this podcast episode shows in a way where that is her. And my vision for this podcast cover is very cottagecore outdoor vibes and, you know, something with like a bow in my hair overlooking a lake or the ocean or something with just a bunch of greenery and a lot of nature. I think that's the vibe I want to go for. This summer, I think I'm going to change my podcast cover to something like that. I'm going to make it a big deal because I'm probably going to do this for my birthday photo shoot, which is in June. So that's going to be happening. And I don't know where I'm going to be booking this photo shoot scene yet, but I'm going to make it happen. Second of all, you know how I said, if you guys have been catching up with my vlogs, please do, because I upload quite frequently on my YouTube. If you only follow me on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you follow me to listen to my podcast. But if you watch my vlogs, I mentioned that I'm going to be going to Bali in June for my birthday. Plans have changed. I am actually going in September, which is a little bit more further away. It would have just made more sense for my friend and also my boyfriend who is going. So as much as I would love to go on my birthday, I think it would also be better for me to also go to Bali in September for a month around that time, because I do want to make sure that like I'm not rushing to have the content that I need to be posted before I go on that trip. And I just want to make sure that I'm like not overwhelmed and have any of my projects done. So I think September would be more ideal. I booked it over a week ago and I am so freaking excited. I don't know what it is. I've never been to Bali in my life. I've never really dreamt of going to Bali until maybe a few years ago, but it never came to my mind or like crossed my mind ever to think Bali is my dream vacation. I don't know, something about Bali and Costa Rica, like all those places that give you a very different sight on how we should be living our lives and just like the holistic wellness side of life. It kind of makes me want to switch up my lifestyle to live there one day. Who knows? Okay. I don't know. I've told my boyfriend this. I'm like, you know, maybe one day we should even try to like move to somewhere tropical for even 6 months because we only have one life. That's an update. I've also been waking my ass up at 4:30 a.m. Some days I wouldn't be able to do it because right now, if you are Canadian or if you are a fellow hockey fan and you watch hockey, you know that playoff season is happening right now. So the games are really late and I can't wake my ass up at 4:30 a.m. if I'm going to be watching these games. So right now, that's kind of on pause, but on some days when they don't play, which I'm also cheering for the Oilers, go Edmonton, woohoo! I'm going to try and go to bed earlier and wake up at 4:30 a.m. to get back into that morning routine, but it's kind of hard right now. But eventually when playoff season is over, I am back to my new routine. So if you haven't already watched my 4:30 a.m. morning routine video, that one popped the F off. I don't know how. I think it was just people being curious to see if I maybe woke up at that time or like getting motivation to wake up earlier. I don't know what it is, but I think I'm going to be doing more of that over on my YouTube, doing like morning routines, nighttime routines, and just like being more motivational for you guys to get inspired and for me to also just to be disciplined with the routine that I do. Oh, I am also heading to somewhere fun this weekend actually, and I would have ever thought that I would be booking a trip to a place like this. And if you already know where I'm going, then you obviously watch my vlogs, but I'm going to keep it a secret until I post about it because I think I want to post a vlog about my trip. One more update. My posting schedule, I don't know if I should switch it up, but currently at this moment, Mondays are my posting schedule for my podcast episodes and Fridays are my YouTube video days where I post a fun little vlog on Fridays. But I'm thinking of switching it up because it seems like a lot of you guys are watching on YouTube on Sundays, which those are my analytics that I'm seeing. But I don't know if you guys want me to post podcast episodes on Monday and just leave it at that. But anyways, now let's get into this podcast episode because I know for a lot of us, including myself, I don't want to be stuck in a constant cycle of just always getting into a slump. So that is why we always have to find ways to keep showing up for ourselves and truly know our worth and how important it is to build healthy habits. So if you clicked on this podcast episode and you're thinking to yourself, this was the episode that I really needed and something I need to hear, then keep on watching, keep on listening because I have some really good advice and some things that I want to say that I think people can relate to. So whether you started your goal setting beginning of the year or not, I think there's always room to restart. Even if, for example, we are halfway through the year, you don't have to put yourself down even if it seems like you don't have your shit together. But that doesn't mean you should be putting off your priorities to the side. So there was actually a podcast episode that I was going to do before this, but for some reason I was called to switch that up and choose this podcast episode over that one. And I'm going to be recording that one next. But I think I was called to do this because for years, I was in this specific state with procrastination beating my ass. And I'm not sure if it was laziness or what, but for sure it was taking forever to get to my goals. Like there would be times where I would have lazy days and sit around scrolling on my phone the whole day. But I guess that also put me into a state of just being way too comfortable and really not getting my shit done. This year for 2024, I really reevaluated what were some of the things that I wanted to improve this year that I didn't really take seriously over the past few years or whatever, and just wrote all of that down to figure out what are the things that stand out to me that have been putting my life into a curveball where I don't get my goals done. There were things that stood out to me that made me feel like shit, knowing that I would always be waking up late and procrastinating the day away where I do not get anything done. Although I know you guys see like everything that I do in my day-to-day life or just like things I post on social media, those are the things that I choose to post. And why would I post things that would unmotivate you or unmotivate me or things that would just like almost put you guys down to not get motivated or inspired? Even if I were to post some days where I would be very realistic and my mental health wouldn't be in check or anything like that, I think you guys would understand. But as you guys know, social media is a highlight reel, and not everything that we're going to post, we would be in a perfect, happy state all the time. Like, we could be posting something that looks like it's so much fun, but maybe if you were actually there, it wouldn't be as fun as you thought it would. Sometimes you got to just put those things into perspective, because that is reality sometimes. But going back to the part where I said I would be procrastinating the day away and not getting anything done, although I do hand in my projects, go to the gym, and do my wellness routine every single day, I never really had a proper structured schedule from that time. And even though it made me feel really good about those things and doing all those things that would help me improve my lifestyle, it was still not helping me in a way. My life wasn't so structured because of procrastination and just like not having the proper routine. But this year, I've implemented so many different things that I would want to change in my life and just the lifestyle I want to create for myself to actually chase my goals. It's been helping so much. So changes that I've done that helped me notice a difference within my day-to-day life, for example, my nighttime routine and my morning routine. And the fact that I'm able to stick with it makes me so proud of myself, because I would just never be able to stick to a routine and keep being consistent with it. But now that I've actually found a way where it's realistic enough and what worked for me, I was able to not go back to the cycle that I used to have, because that's what we don't want to be stuck in. So this helps me to not lose sight of myself and not lose sight with being in touch with my divine feminine energy. Why I say that is because I don't want to rush through everything, and I want to do everything with intention. And at the end of the day, that's all I could really ask for. I think when it comes to this, you really end up getting to a point in your life where you're like, shit, I actually need to just get my shit together. And that's what I came down to, is where I am right now. And that's why I wanted to make this podcast episode, because I feel like I'm not alone when we get into slumps like this. And then going back to social media, I don't want it to make it seem like whenever I'm productive and showing you guys like a productive day in my life, I don't want it to make it seem like where you guys have a feeling that it makes you feel like shit, because that is not my intention. But as a content creator myself, don't forget that like we are humans too, and we're gonna go through these things and get in slumps. So I just want you guys to know that whenever I do feel unmotivated, uninspired, and feeling like I'm in a slump, I get those days too. And maybe I should make a YouTube video about it, where if I did have a day where I did feel unmotivated, even though I don't really want to film, I should film a day like that and show you guys what are some things that I can do to get myself up and do some things that make me happy and not feel like shit. So if there are some things that you guys want to change within yourself, do the same as me and reevaluate what things that you want to change in your life that will make your life better. But I believe that you being consistent and you doing the things that will lower your cortisol levels and getting your tasks done is still gonna help you get to where you want to be, and you're still making progress. So just remember that it doesn't happen overnight, but by being consistent, you're still one step closer to reaching for your goals. And don't get me wrong, like still to this day, when I have the most productive day or small micro tasks that I do and finish, for some reason, I don't know why, but like I still feel like shit, but that's because I don't appreciate those moments and appreciate those tasks that I do, because it would seem like to me that it's not productive, but it really is. So if you feel that same way too, and you are doing all these tasks throughout the day, like even doing the laundry, folding your clothes, washing the dishes, or just like studying, going for a walk, making your bed, brushing your teeth, doing the mundane things, that is still productive. That is something we all have to realize at the end of the day, that we're just humans and we're just out here trying to better ourselves 1% every single day. So let's just pretend that we're actually having a conversation right now and you're facing me. You know, we're just having a one-on-one convo, being the best friends that we are, and you're asking me, I do want to better myself, but I don't know what things I should change about myself. Well, first off, let's look into your day-to-day life. Are you waking up late because you go to bed late? Is your screen time way too high that you didn't even get a chance to step outside? Did you not eat at all today because you forgot? Maybe that was a question that you wouldn't really ask yourself. But personally, for me, I am victimized by that because I've had that happen so many times where I'm like, oh, wait, I forgot to eat today. And eating is very important because it helps you stay energized, and eating nutritional food makes you feel good. Anyways, back into your day-to-day life. Do you feel lethargic and groggy because you eat like shit? Like, let's be really honest with ourselves for a second. Because if we don't get to the root of the cause, we will never really understand ourselves and expect that change we want to see. And if you don't think you have time, you have fucking time. You are literally the only person standing in the way of your goals when you keep giving yourself excuses as to why you don't achieve what you want. Have you guys heard of the 75 Hard Challenge? I don't really know much about it, but all I can say is that even though it challenges you setting a challenge like this, I think it just seems very unrealistic and unsustainable because it's very strict. And don't get me wrong, I think it would be fun to do a challenge like this if you are someone who just wants to challenge yourself or do it for fun. But if you are a beginner and you're just like stepping into this wellness space with really no logic, I think it could be really toxic. And it's something that I don't think people should try if they're really new to this lifestyle. And who knows? And maybe it could change their life. But I think if we put things into perspective, I don't think it would just be an everyday thing that you would do this for the rest of your life. And even if you were to create a routine for yourself, for some reason, in quotations, you fail or don't get what you wanted to get done, at least you went through trial and error, but learning to bounce back is what will give you the willpower to knowing that you can do anything you set your mind to. But for some of us who want long-lasting change, like I said, it really does start with all the small micro tasks that you do within your day-to-day life or lifestyle. So if you are on the verge of just like giving up, or at this point you need that one extra push to really change your lifestyle, I will give you guys some ideas that could help. And I don't know if this is controversial to say, but I like to tell you guys on social media to move your body every single day. And that doesn't have to be you going to the gym and lifting weights. Like, we're going to have a day that we would need to rest our bodies, but that's different. What I'm trying to say here is that if you find something that you love to do that inquires you to move your body, going for a hot girl walk or doing yoga at home, doing Pilates at home, doing like a 20-minute workout on YouTube, or even just like doing a 30-minute walk on a treadmill, anything like that to get your body moving, or like even dancing. Okay, you could do like a Zumba class. You could do just a fun activity where your blood is flowing and you're getting your heart rate up, and just turn that movement into a lifestyle and finding the movement that works for you. Another thing, if you're someone who always put things off to the side, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like there is not enough time in the day to get everything you want done, there's something called the pomodoro technique. So if you need to complete any projects or work-related things, set that for 25 minutes on your phone. And I think I find it very effective for someone who gets a little burnt out easily. So I use this technique quite frequently. And if this is something that you want to try, let me know, because this could change your life. Put your phone on D&D and set your phone somewhere off to the side where you aren't resisting the urge to pick it up, and let your alarm go off from across the room and grab it after 25 minutes is over. So after that, you want to give yourself like a 15 or 20 minute break, but that doesn't mean you grab your phone and start scrolling, because that kind of just like breaks the cycle of you doing the thing that you need to do and going back to a toxic cycle that you didn't want to begin with, because that just ruins the whole Pomodoro technique. But for this break, you could go for a walk. If you needed to go on your phone, then maybe you could like call a friend or something, make a snack, clean up your surroundings. And after that 15-20 minute break is over, you would go back to doing the same thing that you were doing before. And you could repeat this 3 or 4 times or however many times to, actually getting the job done. Another idea that could help you change your lifestyle is, I know this may be hard for some people, but getting up when your alarm goes off. Because I know that a lot of us want to just hit our snooze button. But if you want to make a change in yourself, these are some of the things that you would have to do to just improve your lifestyle. So no more excuses. Get up when your alarm goes off. Create some time throughout the day or in the evening to do a little bit of a home refresh. So whether that being 5 or 10 minutes, and what I mean by a home refresh is just cleaning your surroundings. We all know that if we clean our space and clean our surroundings, we also have a clear mind. So tidy up your space. When you do this, you could also be really motivated and excited to move on with your day. And I think it's just a really great feeling when you accomplish something like this because your space is tidy. Now, maybe some of these things that I've said will not change your life, even though it possibly could, but I really think that it will be beneficial for your life for the better. And you really have to do these things for you and don't let any distractions get in your way. Like everybody says, nothing changes if nothing changes. There are so many things that for me as a woman, there are so many things that I like to do that help me get re-inspired. And that's just by reconnecting with my inner child, doing things creatively that express the creative side of me. Even finding a new hobby that you possibly think that you wouldn't enjoy but end up loving it. And one thing that I've been getting into is just knowing more about herbs and knowing more about our body and what it needs to thrive. Also, learning more about plants because one day I do want to have a garden myself and have a garden that is filled with a bunch of pretty flowers and just a lot of exotic and unique plants around my home. Because I guess that is my dream one day, is to live very far from the city and, you know, have that cottagecore vibe. Being in a busy city, it truly raises my cortisol levels and like the fast-paced life, like get me the frick out of here. So, you know, one day I'm literally manifesting that because it is a dream of mine and I'm going to achieve it one day. So by doing all these tasks that I do and, you know, working hard for my goals, I'm gonna eventually get there. You know, right now, I live in like a cute little duplex home, a modern home. And as much as I love it, it's something that I don't really see myself living in for the rest of my life. Like I love more of an architectural, unique 80s, 90s home vibe. And I don't know if you guys get what I mean, but modern homes these days, they're just the same thing and it's not a unique space. And even though like this is something that I've always dreamt of just like decorating my own place, I'm so grateful for that and I'm so happy with where I live. But you know, one day the cottagecore vibes, that is the go-to dream for me. Moving on. So in order to really build these healthy habits and, you know, live a healthier lifestyle, we have to really take care of our mental well-being and just like knowing what good foods to eat. And by that, I mean just eating cleaner. I kind of want to make it a challenge for myself to start eating cleaner. And even though that I pretty much do, there are some things that in my diet I could change that could help me improve my gut health more and, you know, make my gut health really happy because I do still eat quite a bit of sugar. That's because I like to treat myself. And don't get me wrong, I love treating myself, but sugar is addictive and, you know, we can't be eating that every single day, only every now and then. But I do want to make it a challenge for myself to try and eat clean as possible and see how good I feel by the end of it. Because I do find when I eat a lot of carbs and sugar, I feel like absolute disgust. I feel like shit. I feel so sick to my stomach where even if I try to run it off at the gym, it's like, why did I do that in the first place? Why did I make my body feel the way it did when I could have resorted to eating so much better and healthier because I know that it would make me feel good. With this being said, it is time to exit your lazy girl era and step into just building healthier habits for yourself, living a lifestyle that you want to create, that you see people online do it themselves to live happier and healthier. And at the end of the day, it's all about the longevity with how you treat your body and what you focus on that are your priorities. So I hope this podcast episode got you a little inspired and got yourself out of a rut because now I'm feeling re-inspired. I'm feeling motivated and I'm excited to tag you guys along for my little vacation over the weekend because it's gonna be a time where I'm gonna decompress. I'm gonna find myself a waterfall and go swimming in it. I'm going with my boyfriend. We're going to be doing all things nature-esque vibes and, still having fun because we are on vacation, but for the most part, we are on this trip to just decompress, forget about reality for a second. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast episode. If there are any podcast episodes that you guys want me to talk about, let me know in the show notes on Spotify. Let me know in the YouTube comments down below. DM me on Instagram, whether it's on my main Instagram or the podcast Instagram. I'm going to have to post more on that as well because you guys probably want updates on there and just want to see more content. But don't forget to follow all my socials. If you haven't already, give my podcast a 5-star rating because it does help with the show. It helps with newcomers on finding out about my podcast. I appreciate and love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next week.